We're back on air. Tight and muscle and one more. You know, I always say this. Are you on, Derek?
Yep.
I always say this, Zon, that this is my favourite podcast because I've got one of the best guests I've ever had. But this one is because, you know, Don, I've been doing Tight and Muscle and One. I think this is the 58th episode. And 59, is it? Sorry, 59. I've had a couple of weeks off. But everyone asks me, like, which member does everyone love here at Titan Fitness? Like, you're the most talked about member here at Titan Fitness. Do you know that?
No.
No? You inspire more people than anyone else. And I think it's because of your age. You're 95 years old.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Like, can you give me a background of how old you were when you actually started training?
Well, I think I've trained most of my life, but when I really got stuck into it was during the war, when I became a paratrooper, and we just trained and trained and trained. We did everything. We had a big gym with Roman rings, horizontal bar, parallel bar, blokes to teach us boxing, wrestling. We did cross-country running, swimming, and we did that, you know, for about the last 3 years I was in the army. And when I got out, I just think I was hooked on it. But I think it was good that I did get hooked on it, because throughout my life, even now, I can still enjoy myself and do things that I know people 20 and 30 years younger than me, they can't do it because they're too fat and not fit.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's ridiculous letting yourself get like that, because what's the use of living on and having superannuation and things like that and not being able to spend it and enjoy it yourself? I have been away since 1977, I think it was, the first time I went overseas, and I've been overseas every year since.
Wow.
And even this year I went overseas. I must admit, I don't think I'm going to do it anymore because the flights knock me around a bit now. But I've had a wonderful time.
Since the 70s? Since the 70s you've been going every year?
Every year.
Wow.
I've been somewhere.
And yeah, go on. And so you said before what, World War One? You started training? When was it? No, World War Two.
Oh,
World War Two. Sorry,
oh,
let me get that right. Sorry. Before, so you started before World War Two.
Yeah. Well, before World War Two, I joined the army when I was 18. So before then, I was playing. I remember under 19s football, and then before that, I was playing under 17s football.
Yeah.
And I was in a surf club.
Yeah.
And I just like playing sport and training. Maybe that might have been a problem in my marriage.
Really? Your marriage?
I was playing.
So because you were training so hard, did that interfere with your marriage then?
It could have possibly, because I was down the surf club a lot, and I was playing rugby, and I was playing hockey and basketball.
Yeah.
Things
So if
like
you
that.
want to live long, keep away from the wife. Is that what you're saying?
No, they say people who are married live longer, and I
Yeah.
thought, God, how long do they live for?
And can I ask you like a question, like, what's your diet like? Like,
No,
it's about,
pretty good.
Yeah.
No, during the week now I make my own bone broth.
Wow.
And I make soup and stuff. I've always got soup in the fridge. But besides that, for dinner, so for breakfast I usually make a banana smoothie or something like that. For lunch, because I can't eat everything at night, I usually eat greens at lunchtime. And then at night time I either have salmon or chicken and baked veggies.
Wow.
And that's about all I eat.
Do you ever go off your diet and have some ice cream or pizza or anything like that, or
Yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the other day I bought a tub of ice cream, which I reckon is the first time I've bought a tub of ice cream.
For
if
how
I
long?
can remember, for as long as I can remember.
Okay.
I just haven't, but I just suddenly thought, I'd like some ice cream.
Yeah.
So I bought it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't eat very much each day, but I have a little dig at it.
Were you always eating like that, or was it towards sort of like your...
No, I remember even when I was at work and I was living on my own, I mainly had vegetables then, and I always had spinach and pumpkin and things like that. Always. I didn't eat, and I still don't eat much red meat. Only occasionally I go buy a steak or something like that, but not very often.
There's a lot of young people out there, and you can sort of see a lot of people getting overweight and not training. Back in your day, was there a lot more people into recreational type of training? Like, was everyone out in the park, surf club, running around?
Yes.
Compared to today, you think?
Yes, I'm sure, because there wasn't the distractions that they've got now.
Yeah.
Like, I could go and kick a football out in the road, and there wouldn't be a car come along.
Yeah.
Maybe not all day. There might be a horse and cart come along.
Yeah.
I remember, you laugh at that, but I mean, the greengrocer used to come in a horse and cart. The paper man used to throw the papers at 6 o'clock in a horse and cart. They all came around in a horse and cart.
Yeah.
That was in the 30s.
Yeah.
And so you were always doing something. You didn't have the distractions. Like, we had a lot of bush where I lived in those days, and my father liked the bush. So on the weekend we often used to go for a big long walk in the bush.
Yeah.
And other times of the week we were always walking around playing football or playing cricket, or other games that they used to play, fox and hounds and things like that. We were always running and chasing one another. But people don't do that anymore.
Oh, yeah. What about like work? What kind of work did you, you've been retired for a while. What were you doing for work?
When I was young, I didn't work very long before I joined the army. And so I was just an office boy.
Well, how long did you do the army for?
4.5 years, I think. Yeah.
4.5 years. Then what did you do after that? What did you do after the army?
I came out. I was a panel beater for a while.
Panel beater.
That's why I'm a bit deaf.
I know a girl that always has problems with the car, smashes it up, terrible driver.
No, but I decided I wasn't going to do that for the rest of my life after a few years, and I went back to night school when I was 40, I think.
Night school. What did you do there?
I just studied and started to do what they call the mature age exam.
Yeah.
And then I realised they said that gives you an admittance to go to uni. So I thought, I'd like to go to uni. So I went to uni.
Yeah.
And when I passed my exams there, because I did that, I got a job in the Bureau of Statistics.
The Bureau of Statistics.
Which was wonderful.
How long were you there for? How many years?
In the Bureau?
Yeah.
28 years, I think.
28 years.
And I wasn't so keen on it when I was in Perth. It was all right. It was better than being a panel beater and things like that. But when I went to Darwin, it was just magic. I had to go to all the Aboriginal settlements in the Northern Territory, so I travelled all over the Northern Territory for 5 years. It was marvellous. And then when I transferred to Sydney, I had a similar sort of job. I had to go to a lot of the country towns.
Yeah.
And about the only Aboriginal settlement they've got up north, I went there. It was funny. When I came here, they said to me, no one will go to it. And I said, what for? And they said, they just won't go. I said, well, I'll go.
Yeah.
So I went. I didn't have any trouble there. I've never had any trouble on an Aboriginal settlement. And I've always got on quite okay with them.
Yeah.
And it was good. I used to have to go out to these places to try and employ them to do jobs that we wanted to do. So I had to try and get somebody to do the job and train them to do the job. Only trouble is sometimes I'd go walkabout.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. looking at your training, right? How many days a week do you train now? And look, how long have you been a member here?
Yeah, that's the thing. When did you start up this place here?
When we took over,
Yeah.
I think it was about 2010.
Well,
Did you come straight after that?
I'm
You
not
must
too
have been
sure.
before.
I know I've been here since 2013,
Yeah.
but I'm just not too sure those couple of years before because what was I doing? That's right. I belonged to the Des Renford
Gym, yeah.
Coffee Club,
Okay, yeah.
and we swim 2 kilometres a day.
Yeah.
And I did that from 1997 through till only about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and my shoulders got crooked and I can't really swim.
Yeah.
And that, I suppose, when these things were starting to go off, I started looking around to do something else, and I came to this gym and I did a class and I got a bit hooked on that.
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
So I noticed you do a lot of HIIT classes. Is that your favourite class?
Yeah,
That's your favourite
yeah,
class?
because they're
A lot of movement.
moving and you've
Yeah.
got other people around to sort of, well, as I say, to inspire you.
Yeah,
I think it's much easier if you've got people around
yeah,
doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Although with that, I never minded running on my own.
yeah.
I'd go swimming or I'd even come here to gym, but I still used to go running after gym or sometime during the day.
Yeah. Do you recommend people, you know, like a lot of people around their 70s, they might stop training. Do you recommend those types of people that are in their 70s? Because you're 95, you're 20 years older than those people in their 70s. Do you recommend they still keep training?
I don't think you should ever stop.
Yeah.
I realise that some people have got things wrong with them that it's not through not training or anything, it's just, they just have these things. But otherwise, I just think you're crazy not to, even walking, like even if you're not going to gym, but if you're walking every day doing something, I mean, it makes your life so much better.
Of course. In being your age, you've seen a lot, right? You must have some words of wisdom for people that are young. Well, even my age. I'm 42. Like that's young, yeah, for you.
Yes, I just thought of it.
So, like, what advice would you give, say,
It's not
someone like me, right? I'm running a business like this.
It's not the years in your life. It's a life in your years.
It's not the years in your life. It's a life in your years.
Yeah. So if you can keep training and your life goes on much better.
Yeah. Training's been a big part of your life. I can see you always look like you feel good, you feel happy.
Yeah.
So obviously it does it gives you a massive impact on your endorphins, your feelings of going, I actually want to wake up today and train.
Yeah.
And then it helps you attack the day a lot better. Is that something that it's done for you? Like, obviously you've talked about that a lot. Obviously that's been the biggest player of your life, why you feel so good still.
Yeah, well, the last years that I've been coming here, I've been getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to come here, and the people say you must be mad.
Yeah.
But I just got used to waking up. I used to wake up about 10 to 5 and get up, and I found it was no problem doing that. And not only that, I always found that if I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and came here and did my gym, it was done. The gym work was done. Whereas if I had left it till later on, things happen during the day.
Yeah. And looking back at your life, right? Who in your family, like you obviously looked after yourself. In a lot of families, not everyone follows suit. In your family, is everyone like you? Is everyone fit?
Well, I think about my mother. She was 91 when she died, and she would always seem to be walking to the shop and walking, and she didn't walk slowly. She went along pretty crook. So I think, that helped her a lot. My sister, she used to go to the beach a lot.
How old was she?
She died a couple of years ago. She was 95.
95, wow.
Yeah.
And she was good all the way to 95?
Yeah, until the last couple of months, and suddenly she went downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had what, one sister?
And a brother. My brother got to 83,
83, yeah.
and he got that terrible motor neurone. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, motor neuron.
Wouldn't list that on my worst enemy. That's a terrible thing.
Was he older or younger?
He was older than me.
Older than you.
I'm the baby.
Oh, you're the baby. Wow.
Yeah, they were 5. My sister was 5 years older. My brother was 6 years older than me.
Yeah. When did you turn 95?
In March.
In March.
Yeah.
Big birthday? Was it a big one or?
I've had big birthdays since I was retired. Since I was 65, I've had birthdays every 5 years. I'm a hash house harrier,
Yeah.
and they're mad.
Yeah.
And every 5 years they've put on these birthday parties.
Birthdays, yeah.
They've been absolutely magic.
Yeah. You came on this podcast. You said you've done an interview before, yeah?
Oh, what?
You said you've done an interview before.
Yeah.
Did you know that you've made such a big impact on the members here at Titan Fitness? Did you know that? Or?
I know they've said, at times down there when I've had a birthday, so they've brought out a birthday cake or something down there.
Yeah.
And people have said, you're an inspiration.
Yeah.
I don't, and people say, you're marvellous. But I don't think that way, because I just think that's a normal thing to do.
Yeah.
It should be a normal thing to do.
It's like you see people get pats on the back and then they just stop, right? And even for me, like, I just keep doing what I've got to do rather than worry about the accolades that I get from anyone, it doesn't matter who it is, right?
Yeah.
That seems to be a trait for you, that where no matter what anyone says, you know exactly what you're going to do, and you're in control of everything that you do.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I get up, excuse me, I get up every morning now, and before, when I was coming to gym, after gym, I walk. And it only takes half an hour, but the last part of it's up quite a big hill.
Yeah.
So I do that pretty well every day. One thing, I like walking, and I just think I need to do something else.
Yeah, yeah. And finally, what advice would you give anyone out there watching this right now that wants to live a fulfilled life for as long as they can? What advice would you give them?
Well, just look after yourself and exercise, and don't think that you can just go through life by not doing anything to help yourself. You need to help yourself to enjoy your life. And it's no good living all those years if you can't enjoy yourself. Yeah, and
so enjoy the journey.
Enjoy
the journey.
Oh yes.
And I want to ask you one more thing. Life's got a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
You must have had heaps of those.
Yeah, I suppose I am lucky that a lot of people get heart problems and all sorts of things like that. I'm lucky. Well, whether it's because I've trained or not, I don't know. But anyway, I myself think it is because I've looked after myself and trained. Once you start getting overweight and things, you start putting pressure on your heart and things like that.
So the harder you work, the luckier you get.
I think so. I think so.
Well, Don, thanks a lot.
That's all right.
You're an inspiration to everyone here at Titan Fitness.
Thank you.
I think the biggest takeaway is for everyone just to keep moving, and age is just a number, and just enjoy every single day that you're alive.
Yeah.
And keep moving.
Yeah.
And never stop looking after yourself.
Yeah, that's right. And one thing, I think it's probably, for people to think about training, it's much easier if you come to the gym and do a class and you've got people around you.
More importantly, come to Titan Fitness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And good staff.
Good stuff as well. All right, Don. Thank you very much.
That's okay.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I know you know my wife better than me, but you probably want to know her better than me anyway, because I'm a male. There's no use knowing me. But I just want to thank you
That's right.
I want to thank you for being a member here for as long as you have. I want to thank you for the inspiration that you give to every single person. You're an inspiration to anyone, anywhere, Don, because
Thank you.
you know, to be 95 and still be going to the gym, I take my hat off to you, and I hope I can do that to your age, because it's wonderful, it's amazing, and I hope you live to 100.
Hey,
Well,
yeah.
live forever.
Everybody expects me to get to 100.
I want to see you back at 100. If you, I want to see you back on I don't know what episode it'll be.
I think we were going to run a marathon, weren't we?
What's that?
We're going to run a marathon with you.
Oh, God. I've done one, but
Thanks again, Facebook. Don, amazing story, 95. Honestly, guys, if you ever get to meet this guy and see him move, he's a true inspiration. Don, thanks again.
thank you.